Welcome to My Tech News. My name's Wayne and I run a channel here on YouTube called My Tech News where I try to cover the latest in technology but mostly gaming news and mostly Nintendo news. And I'm actually making this video because I recently hit 1,000 subs on my channel. Sure, it's not as big as some other YouTube content creators, but I'm still happy I have around 1,000 or a little bit over 1,000 as of this recording, and I'm very happy about it. Now, in this video, I'm going to be introducing myself and talking about myself so you guys can get to know me. I've said this in some couple of other videos. I'm not just a content creator that just delivers the tech news, the gaming news, Nintendo news. I want you to get to know me as a person as well of me just rambling on about the news. This is a place where you can come and learn about the news, whether it's gaming news, tech news, anything I'm interested in my life. But also, I am here and I do want you guys to get to know me behind the camera. That's what's so great about YouTube compared to other media like TV or movies. You can't get to know the actor because, well, they can't talk to you behind the camera. So that's why I'm here sitting behind here and I want to talk to you guys. Now, I've already made this video in the past, but that was when I had about 500 subs or 600. That was about 1 or 2 years ago. So nobody really might have not watched that video. You might have not have seen it. I wasn't as big. So that's why I'm actually making this video of get to know me. Now, as I said, my name is Wayne and I run a channel here called My Tech News. I'm going to try to think of some stuff I'm going to actually talk about. First off, my passions in life, or my main passion in life, is obviously tech or gaming. I absolutely love gaming and tech news. I grew up as a kid in this world playing video games. My first ever video game, I've already said this on my channel many times, but just for a refresher, my very first video game in my entire life was the PS1. I grew up with the PS1 and I grew up with Crash Bandicoot, and if you don't know as well, I'm streaming Crash Bandicoot. They will be VODed on my channel, so if in the future you're watching this video and I'm already done with my streams of Crash Bandicoot, you can always watch them on my channel. But I grew up with that series and that was one of my favorite series as a kid. I absolutely adored that. And then later on in life, I actually, couple years later, I actually got a Game Boy Color, and that's when I first played Pokemon. I actually played Pokemon when it first came out to the masses. It wasn't mainstream by no means, but it was the first time I played Pokemon when it actually released. I remember as a kid, the hype with Pokemon was real. I remember getting Pokemon cards, Pokemon memorabilia, like a Pokemon hat, a Pokemon t-shirt. Everyone in my school was talking about Pokemon. Being a kid in the 90s was one of some of the greatest memories, not just in video games. I had a pretty good childhood overall, and I liked my childhood overall. So you can see I am a 90s kid. Not going to say how old I am. You can kind of figure that out. In some other videos, I kind of give you hints as well, but I am a 90s kid. So it was awesome back in the 90s. I don't regret any of my childhood. Now I'm going to talk about some things, some of the stuff I do like and don't like. When it comes to food, actually, one thing I do not like, I know it's funny, I'm not the only person in this world, but when it comes to food or it comes to sweets, I actually don't like chocolate. I don't know why. I never really liked it since I was a kid, and I still don't like it to this day. Now, to be fair, I do like chocolate bars or chocolate candy, but when it comes to chocolate ice cream or chocolate cake or those chocolate fountains, those are disgusting to me, at least. I know some of you right now might be saying, what the heck, you don't like chocolate? Well, yeah, I never liked chocolate ever since I was a kid. It's just part of me and it'll always be a part of me. One thing I never liked as a kid as well was guacamole, but then I slowly started trying it out and then I liked guacamole. So now I'm a big eater of guacamole, if you didn't know, or avocados. I love them. But for some reason I keep trying to eat chocolate ice cream or cake or those chocolate fountains and stuff like that, but for some reason I just don't like the taste. It's just too strong for me. I just think it's disgusting, and I don't think I'll ever be a pure chocolate fan when it comes to those types of chocolate. One thing about me that might be unusual compared to some people is every time I sleep at night, I absolutely have to have a fan on. For some reason, whether it's the winter or whether it's the summer, I love having a fan on. I just can't sleep without a fan on. I love the noise, and I actually love the air coming out, because if you didn't know as well, for some reason, I always feel like I'm always hot for some reason. I get hot extremely fast. That's why in the winter time when I'm outside, I can actually bear the winter more than I can bear the summer, just because in the summertime it gets really hot and I just can't bear it. It gets over 100 degrees from where I'm at, and it's super hot. Also, one thing I did forget to mention in the video, which I should have mentioned right away, is If you didn't know, looking back on some of my older videos, I used to be a heavy set person. Yes, I used to be about 250, 260 pounds, and I was ashamed of myself. I wasn't enjoying my life as much as I wanted to. So I'm glad now that I'm finally over my fatness, and I'm trying to actually lose weight. Right now I'm still sitting at about 160, 162 pounds, and hopefully I'm trying to keep that up. Most of my time outside of YouTube now is primarily exercising. You would think that video games would be a majority of my life, but now it's not a majority of my life. Usually I only play video games in my actual life or my regular life outside of YouTube about 2 to 3 times a day. Yes, 2 to 3 times a day. You might think that's a lot, but honestly to me that's not a lot compared to what I used to do. Now, I will say about 80 to 90% of my life I am outside trying to get exercise and things like that. One of my other passions, well, not really a passion because I just made it a passion, but one thing I just stumbled on, which I absolutely love. You can go ahead, you probably won't guess what it is, but one of my passions I just discovered, which I didn't know was going to be one of my passions, is I love to longboard. Recently I just started longboarding, and oh my god, I love to longboard. Just riding down the street, just kicking it, getting exercise, feeling the wind in your hair. It's just a flat out good time with the longboard. I always wanted to skateboard in my lifetime, but I thought it was too complicated and stuff like that. But the longboard is just something different. It's much more easier to ride. It's more lower to the ground, much more easier overall. It's a good cruiser. It's so easy, and I'm not scared on that thing, and I can easily book it, and I'm getting better and better on that thing. Yesterday I went so far on it. I probably went about 2, 3, 4 miles on that thing, and it's so awesome. Actually, in a couple of seconds I will flash on the screen the picture of the longboard I am currently using. In 3, 2, 1, picture will be now on the screen of my longboard. So as you can see, that is a picture of my longboard. Actually, that's technically not my longboard. I got that longboard free from my sister. She bought it and then ended up not using it. That's how I actually ended up using it. If it wasn't for her, I probably would have never ended up longboarding, just because I've always tried skateboarding, but it's been too hard for me, too complicated. I was always scared to fall and things like that. Also, good tip if you're trying to start skateboarding, pennyboarding, longboarding, I highly recommend is don't be afraid to fall. If you're going to be afraid to fall, then you will not be able to do it. That's always how I have my mindset when I'm longboarding. Don't be afraid to fall, because you're so close to the ground that you shouldn't be afraid to fall. But for some reason on those wheels it does feel a little bit unstable, and you feel like you're going to actually fall. Now I know I'm rambling on about longboarding, but I want to talk about it a little bit in this video because I'm absolutely loving it. But back to what I was saying was it does feel a little bit unstable when you're riding on anything, but you just cannot be scared to fall. If that's your mindset, then you will not have a problem skateboarding, pennyboarding, longboarding. So I always keep that in your mind. And if you're even scared, even more, you can wear a helmet, some pads on your elbows, some pads on your knees, and everything like that if you want to. Also, let's move it on to something a little bit different. Speaking of music, I am a big fan of music, just like anyone in this world. For the most part, I like most everything. Some of my big influences, if you didn't know, I do love Taylor Swift. I think her songs are absolutely fantastic. I'm a big Taylor Swift fan. I know I am a boy, but who really cares? I love her music. Also, one of my favorite genres, and it'll still always hold a special place to me, is always going to be punk rock music. I love punk rock music, whether it's Blink-182, whether it's Green Day, whether it's Yellow Card, whether it's some other groups like that. But I absolutely love punk rock. Recently, though, I've said this in my last video where I did my music collection. I did do a music collection on my channel. And I did say I was getting into more heavy metal and hard rock, and recently I've been loving AC/DC. They might be one of my top 3 favorite bands of all time now. For me personally, I love AC/DC. Yesterday, July 4th, I was actually listening to TNT the whole entire day while I was longboarding around town. It was absolutely fantastic. I knew about AC/DC before, but I never really listen to them hardcore. So this is the year I started listening to them hardcore, and I absolutely love them. Their guitar riffs, the drums, and everything, it's just fantastic. So I'm kind of transitioning from punk rock to actually hard rock, metal, but punk rock will always be my soul in life, and that's pretty much the type of music I listen to. I do listen to other types of music as well. I love actually techno. If you don't know, I am actually a big techno, house, trance, or trap type music person. I do love Daft Punk. I do love that one guy, Deadma or Dead Mouse or whatever you call it, the guy with the Mickey Mouse helmet. I love him as well, or the mask or whatever. I pretty much love any type of genre. Not really too big of a country fan, to be honest. I'm just being honest. There are some good country songs, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, I'm not a country song. Oh yeah, one other genre I absolutely love when it comes to music. I absolutely love jazz. Believe it or not, I am a big jazz person. Still, it won't hold the same place in my heart as punk rock, because I grew up with punk rock. My friends grew up with punk rock. We've always listened to it. I love punk rock. It's just something that's always going to stay with me. But I absolutely love jazz as well. If you give me a good jazz tune, especially one of my favorite instruments, period, has to be the saxophone. Just hearing a nice saxophone play in my ears, whether I'm sleeping or whether I'm just chilling out on the beach, or whether I'm just sitting there under a tree, jazz is absolutely fantastic. That also reminds me of that Mario Kart 8 track, Dolphin Shoals. That's one reason I love that track. I love tropical stuff, and also you give me a saxophone on that level, and oh my god, that thing's like an orgasm in my ear personally. I love Dolphin Shoals music. Speaking of music, now moving back to food. I'm like skipping all over the place, but I'm just trying to think of some stuff so you guys can get to know me. Now, speaking of food, I have this weird habit when it comes to eating food. I won't eat my food until you eat your food. The reason being is when I'm actually eating while if I'm done with my food before you're done with your food, I get more hungry. So what I try to do is let you eat your food and then I eat my food, so I'm not done with my food while you're still eating, because if you're still eating while I'm already done with my food, I get hungry super fast. So that's why I do not tend to do that. I usually wait until you're at least halfway through your meal or almost close to your meal before I start eating my food. I know it's a little weird thing, but everyone has that one little weird thing about them that they either can't get rid of or it's just a part of them for the rest of their life. And I've been doing that since I was a kid. That's just something about me. Also, some weird thing is, unless I'm at someone else's house or whatnot, I have this weird thing too, is where if I'm in like a hotel or somewhere else, I cannot use the furniture. It just grosses me out for some reason. I don't know if that's a thing with other people, but it grosses me out. And funny enough is my sister has the same problem when it comes to using other people's showers. When she uses other people's showers, she just gets a little bit grossed out. But she deals with it, of course. I don't have to deal with it, because usually what I do is I just either sit on the floor or actually I sleep on the floor. While I was on vacation, actually, a lot of the times I would actually put a blanket down on the floor with the pillow and I would sleep on the floor. If you don't know, I am actually a old school type person, because if you didn't know as well, one thing I did forget to mention at the beginning of the video, I forgot to mention what race I am. I'm actually half Filipino and half American. And I have been out of the country about 9 times now, so I'm no stranger to flying around. I've been to my home country 9 times already, and that's a lot of times, honestly. We used to go about every 2 years to my home country, the Philippines, but we don't go there quite too often anymore. But since I've been there 9 times, like, well, I've already been there a long time, and it's a very fun experience. If you've never been out of America, it's definite, or not out of America, but if you've never been out of your home country, let's say, well, then it's something that you should at least experience one time in your life. The whole flying experience, going to different airports, being in a different country you're not used to, just seeing the different culture, seeing what they do, because you may think your culture's weird until you've been to another culture. Oh my god. Seeing pictures, seeing video on the internet of another culture or another country is nice, but until you've actually lived there and did what they've done, then you really get the real experience. Unless you're really not interested, but at least for me, I would recommend going outside of your home country at least once in your life. I think it's a very nice experience. Also, back to what I was saying about the whole having a problem with different people's furniture. I also have this one little weird thing about me as well. When I'm taking a shower, I always have to turn the fan on in the bathroom for some reason. It's just a part of me now. I always have to have the fan on. It feels weird now that I can't take a shower without having the exhaust on in the bathroom. So I usually have the exhaust on. That exhaust you use when you actually take like a crap. That's the one I usually have always on when I'm taking a shower. I'm trying to think of some other stuff about me that you may not know about me. I can't really think too much else. Also, I do love basketball. It's always been my passion as well. It's funny, I love playing basketball, but I don't love watching basketball. When it comes to like watching the NBA or even NCAA, I really don't watch them too much. I don't love that. But one sport I do love watching, but I don't love playing. It's kind of funny. I love playing basketball, but I don't love watching it. I also love watching this sport, but I don't necessarily love playing it. What sport am I talking about? I'm talking about football. I absolutely love football. I am a big football fan, and also I do try to buy the Maddens every single year, or at least every once in a while, like maybe every 2 to 3 years. I do try to end up buying the Maddens because I am a big football fan when it comes to the NFL. My two teams that I actually love are, they're not, well, one of them's good and one of them's not good. You can try to go ahead and guess what two teams I'm going to talk about in this video. But the two teams I actually love is, one's Kansas City Chiefs. I know they're not that good, but the reason is my family's up, some of my family lives up there. Not my primary family, but some of my relatives live up there. So that's why I still watch the Kansas City Chiefs, and they haven't done too bad. Actually, last year they did really good. They made it to the playoffs, and they actually played at their stadium. Dang it, I forgot their stadium's name. Dang it. But anyway, they made it to their team's stadium for the playoffs when they played the Steelers. Of course, we got creamed, but it was still cool that we actually got home field advantage when it comes to the NFL playoffs. And the other team I absolutely love, which is not a bad team. I grew up with them since I was a kid, and one of my friends liked them. That's actually how I ended up liking them. But to be fair, they are a good team, and for some reason it just clicked with me, and my friends liked it. He always talked about it every time in school, and I just eventually just grew on me, and I love that team. I'm talking about the Green Bay Packers. I am absolutely a big Green Bay Packers fan. Aaron Rodgers and all them is just freaking a fun time watching him. He is one of the most insane quarterbacks in the NFL. Is he better than Tom Brady? No, probably not, to be honest, because he's won more titles and he's been to more Super Bowls than Aaron Rodgers. But the cool thing about Aaron Rodgers is when he does his Hail Marys, he does them with a bang. He's done so many good Hail Marys in the last year, 2 years, 3 years. He's done some of the most insane passes in his career, which are epic to see. And a lot of the times, the actual players on the team catched it. But I remember that one game, I think it was a Seattle game, I do believe, where he did like a Hail Mary catch, and the referees, it was a close catch. It was like 4 years ago or something, and I was just frustrated. You probably know what I'm talking about. It might not have been the Seahawks, but I remember that final catch at the ending of that game. I'm pretty sure it was Seahawks versus Green Bay. I'm pretty sure, but I might be wrong. But that one was where the guy catched the ball, and the other guy was on him too, and they claimed that we did not catch the ball, and I was outraged about that. I was really, really outraged when that happened. Also, if you didn't know, when I was actually chunky, I was actually primarily wearing shorts. I never liked wearing jeans. For like 4 to 5 years of my life, I only wear shorts, whether it be in the winter or whether it be in the summer. Actually, speaking of shorts, it's actually not really a trend, but I see more and more guys wearing shorts in the winter time now. It's like they're trying to look cool, or maybe they actually don't love jeans. Because also when I was fat, not just that I was fat, the fact that was I never liked jeans because I always thought that they were a nuisance. But in some situations, they're actually nice to wear. And if you don't know now, one of my new styles in my life that I like wearing, and I actually look really good in my opinion, I actually love wearing skinny jeans. I'm a big skinny jeans wearer, if that's even a word, wearer. Or I wear skinny jeans a lot now. When I lost weight, I wanted to try some new different styles that I knew I wouldn't look good in when I was fat and chunky. So I tried skinny jeans, and I absolutely love skinny jeans. Granted, I only own like 3 pairs right now. I would love to get more skinny jeans, but I absolutely love wearing skinny jeans. Actually, funny enough is in the summertime when I wear shorts, I actually wear a lot of swimsuits out and about, well, because first of all, they're comfortable, and you can't really notice that they are swimsuits. Some of the swimsuits I'm wearing looks like actual shorts. Actually, it's funny enough right now is I'm actually wearing a swimsuit right now. I've been rocking some swimsuits around because they're comfortable and they're just nice, and they have that tie. You can tie them down if they get too loose, you can tie them up. Also, speaking of my weight loss, just talking about things to get to know me. Speaking of my weight loss, I went from a waist size 36 to a waist size 30. Yes. Now I'm actually from XL shirt size to medium, so you can see how far I've gone in my journey. And there is no way I'm turning back the clock. Gonna be fat. I'm gonna keep working on myself, get stronger. Actually, some people have recommended to me I should actually get some abs or build muscle. I don't know if I want to do all of that yet. I don't know for sure because that's a lot of work and a lot of dedication. But I might do that in the future as well. Oh yes, one thing about me I've said in another video. I actually said that. When I was a kid, yes, I was one of those people who used to drink a lot of sodas. I was a big victim. I remember my family did not care. We used to buy 24 packs of Cokes, and even up until high school, I was drinking a lot of Coke. When McDonald's always did those sales, $1 for any size. We would obviously always buy the large size, and then we would spend $1 and drink as many as we can. But ever since 2011 or 12, I started drinking water, and that's all I drink in my life. I'm not even kidding you. That's like all I drink. I know it sounds funny that it's all I drink is water. You would be like, how could he only drink water? But once you start drinking it on a regular basis, you get used to it, and it doesn't bother me. I will say once in a while, like maybe every couple months, yes, no kidding, every couple months I might take like an orange juice and an apple juice and things like that. But to be honest, in my life, I'm just too scared of diabetes. That's like one of the most common diseases, and also a lot of my family members have diabetes, especially in America and especially even back home in my country, the Philippines. It's common that people get diabetes because if you didn't know, one thing about Asian people, not all Asian people, I'm not trying to stereotype, but we eat a lot of rice, and rice turns into starch, and it turns into sugar, and eating too much rice could actually get you. That's why I'm not really eating a lot of rice anymore. I'm trying to stay away from rice as much as possible because rice can actually end up getting you diabetes. I guess the only thing in this lifetime you can do possibly is try to eat healthy and exercise. Now you're supposed to get 10,000 steps a day, and I try to strive for that. I know I'm talking about fitness right now, but it's just a part of me, and I wanted to talk about it. Anything else I wanted to talk about in this video? Oh yes, when it comes to movies, I'm not really a big movie watcher. I prefer watching TV shows over movies. Right now, actually on Netflix, I'm actually in the middle of watching Malcolm in the Middle. Reason I'm watching Malcolm in the Middle with Frankie Muniz is because I grew up with that show back in I think early 2000s, and as I'm rewatching it, it's actually more crazier than I thought. I can't believe that was even aired on TV, especially if kids were watching it, because there's some cussing and there's some pretty crazy stuff that goes on in that show. I would really highly recommend it if you love watching family-oriented TV shows that are about a family and what goes on in the family. I know there's a lot of those out already when it comes to TV shows. Those are the most generic TV shows, but I highly suggest watching that show. I love Malcolm in the Middle. I think it's a good show. It has like 7 seasons, and I'm already in like season 2 or 3 right now. I watch it from time to time. I don't watch it all the time because I don't want to get burnt out, but I'm absolutely loving that show right now. So that's what I'm actually watching, and I'm trying to think of some other stuff. When it comes to traveling around America, I've traveled around America somewhat, but I haven't really traveled around America too much, to be honest. I've only traveled a little bit. I've traveled about 4 states. Not going to name what states I've been to. Okay, never mind. I'll tell you what states I've been to outside of my home state. I currently live in Delaware. Not going to say what city, but I currently live in Delaware, and I'm going to tell you what states I've been to. So I've been to Kansas, of course, because of Kansas City, and my some relatives live up there. And then I've been to Texas. I've been to Dallas, Houston, and I've actually been to Galveston Island. Galveston Island is part of Texas. And then I've been to Arizona. Funny enough, speaking of Arizona, I don't really like Arizona because it's too hot. Some people say you'll get used to it, but I think that's a load of crap just because it's way too hot and it's humid and everything. But I did visit the Grand Canyon. So that is one thing I did visit in America. That's one of the landmarks. I did visit the Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon's cool, but it's not like nothing crazy. But it's still nice to see it at least once in your life. And then as a kid, I've also been to Wyoming. But I was small when I went to Wyoming, so I can't tell you much about Wyoming, really, because I was only a kid when I went up there. Then I also went to South Dakota or North, wherever the faces were. I did see the faces. Also, I've been back east more, like I've been to Washington, D.C., Kentucky, Missouri. I actually been to Arkansas. Actually, funny enough is when we take our family trip, we always actually go to Arkansas because my family owns a condo down there, so that's why we go to Arkansas. I didn't say that in my videos, but that's where we go to our vacation. We always go to Arkansas. And the condo they have is nice, and it is just fun. There's actually a lake over there, and it's actually a really fun time when we go to the lake. We're having so much fun. Since I do go to the Philippines a lot, I'm always going to the beach or going to the water or going swimming. Actually, I remember when I went on my vacation to Arkansas, we went to the lake and to swimming so many days. It was like 99% of the time. But you don't always need to go to a theme park. You don't always need to go shopping. Sometimes it is nice because sometimes in life you just want to get away. You just want to be in nature. Also, if you didn't know, since I lost weight, I am really big into nature. I love hiking. I love going to see scenery. I love running. I love just walking outside. I love the environment. I love anything like that. So if you can hit me up into a spot that has a good hiking spot, or it's just good to actually run, walk, or climb, or see a lot of trees and stuff, then I'm down for that. Actually, speaking of that, last year, me and my dad specifically, we went to Colorado, and in Colorado, we took Pikes Peak. If you don't know what Pikes Peak is, it's a cog train that goes up a mountain, and I think it's only like one of three cog trains in America. It's not the same as an actual regular train. It has a cog, that's why it's called a cog train, and going up that mountain was something totally a different experience I've never experienced. So if you're in Colorado, it's in Manitou Springs or close to Colorado Springs, but if you can get, I think the station's actually in Manitou Springs, but if you can go up Pikes Peak, I would highly recommend it. They actually have warning signs all over Manitou's depot saying that you should drink a lot of water before you go, or have an oxygen tank, because when you get up there to the actual top, because there is a gift shop up there if you're not aware, but when you actually get up there, the air is so thin, it's hard to breathe. Even if you're a perfectly healthy human, you're going to start feeling a little bit dizzy. Not a lot dizzy, but you will start feeling dizzy, and you will feel dizzy. You will start wobbling. I think everyone will, because it's so high up. It's not the same as flying in an airplane, because if you're flying in an airplane, it's an enclosed box, so you really don't feel like you're wheezy or anything because you're inside a cabin. But once you're outside, up there so high, it definitely feels weird. And that is something you do gotta experience, being up high on a mountain. So that's that. And then also we went to Seven Falls, this place in Colorado as well. Look it up, Seven Falls. And there's a big hiking path down there, and I hiked pretty much the whole entire thing. It's about 3, 4, 5 miles or something like that, and I absolutely have had a blast. Like I said, if I was still chunky, then I probably wouldn't have done a lot of things I've already done in my lifetime. I wouldn't even really care about nature. But to be fair, I did love walking when I was still chunky. I've always tried to get outside. I still kind of love nature, kind of love the outdoors, but I wasn't a big outdoorsy person as I am today, just because of the weight, and it's much more easier for me to move around, run, jump, and things like that. Hiking's much more easier. One thing I would absolutely love to do in my lifetime is go camping. Believe it or not, I've never went camping. I have camped in my backyard, but to be fair, camping in the backyard is not the same as camping at an actual lake or an actual mountain or something like that. I would love to try that one time in my life. Also, I do have 2 dogs at the current moment. Not going to show you them on camera, but I have a Chihuahua and I have a big dog. The Chihuahua is a girl, and it's a he. His name is Woody. And then I have another dog. It's a big dog. I forgot what breed it is, but it's big and it's black. And the other one's a kind of like a white, not really white, but it kind of like a soft brown color, kind of. But the other one's big, and the name of the dog is Roxy. To be fair, I didn't name the dog Roxy. We actually got that dog handed to us for free, so that's why the name is Roxy. Actually, my sister told me Roxy is actually a pretty generic name when it comes to dogs. I don't know how true that is, but that's what she says. And so, also, I'm not really a pet person. I've never been a pet person in my life. But when we got our first dog actually passed away last year in December. His name was King, and he was a miniature schnauzer, and that was my first dog ever since I was a kid. He lasted about 10, 11, 12 years, so that's pretty good. I think that's typical for a dog, and if it wasn't for us getting a dog, I would still be scared of dogs today. So I'm glad I did get to experience dogs in my life. Now I'm not scared of dogs for the most part at all. Also, one thing I do love doing besides exercising, I absolutely love running. I am really big into running. I always try to run. I would actually love to run a I think a 5 mile run in my lifetime. I'm pretty sure I'm capable of that because I've been running around and stuff every once in a while, and I've been training and stuff, and I think I can pretty hold up pretty much well when it comes to that. I don't need to sprint it. The problem is I think my agility, I can't last that long, but when it comes to sprinting, I'm really fast when it comes to sprinting. I can run like half a mile, like super, super fast. Not trying to brag or anything like this. I don't want it to seem like I'm bragging. But back as a kid, when I was actually a kid, I remember in my elementary school when we played tag for our PE, we were required to play like a tag game. I think it was freeze tag. I was the fastest kid there, even when I was chunky. Actually, when I was a kid, I wasn't really too chunky. I only started becoming chunky when I was like 12, 13, 14, 15. That's when I really started packing on the weight. I remember when I was like 10, when we went to the Philippines that year, I started eating way too much food, and in those pictures I started seeing my weight gain, and I don't know why my parents didn't tell me. I guess they didn't care how much I ate, but I ate way too much food. But yeah, I was the fastest kid there at my elementary school. Also, I would actually love, if you never did it in school, I did the pacer test, and I wish I can do the pacer test now to test myself, just because, well, I was like literally the first kid out when it comes to the pacer test. Maybe the second. I always tried to not be the first person out because people knew if you're the first person out of the pacer test, people would laugh at you like, oh, look at that. But honestly, they knew I was fat, and they should have been expecting me to be bad. If you don't know what the pacer test is, it's a thing where you have to run back and forth in a gym, and then you got these beeps. Every time you hear a beep, you got to basically, when you hear a beep, you got to run to the other end of the gym before the next beep. So you hear a beep, you make it to that one, you got to make it to that one. So basically, you start out no beeps, and then you run to the next gym, and then it's a beep, and then you got to run back until you hear the next, and then it gets faster and faster until you can't do it anymore. I think the record at our school is like, I think 60 or 70 something. That is insane. I only lasted for like 20 beeps, so you can see I was really out of shape. I think for men, our guys, our boys, it was supposed to be somewhere in the 30s, like 31 or 32 before he conked out. So you can see I definitely wasn't in shape at all when it comes to the pacer test. I would love to redo that as well. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, I guess I'll talk about food before I head out of here, because I really only want to do one of these videos on my channel. I might do this every 1,000 subs or something just to update you guys again, because this video will get lost out of all the other videos I do on my channel. When it comes to food, there's two particular foods I love eating in my life a lot. I absolutely love chicken fried steak. Yes, that's one of my go-to stuffs when I'm at restaurants. I love chicken fried steaks. And then also one other one I absolutely love. I absolutely love chicken parm. It's a Italian dish with spaghetti. Oh my god, that is literally my favorite. It's hard to tell if I love chicken fried steak more or if I love chicken parm more, but what I have to say is chicken parm is awesome. Actually, funny story is when I went to Arkansas and we went on our vacation, there was this little mom and pop restaurant that had chicken parm, and I have to say I've never been there before, but it's absolutely now my favorite place to eat chicken parm. There's a lot of places in my hometown I can eat chicken parm, but the problem is, in my opinion, they won't beat this one. This one was just so creamy. The cheese was so stringy. Oh my god. I can picture it right now. The chicken parm that I had was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. Trying to think of some other stuff. Yes, when it comes to chips, I love your hot Cheetos. It's funny enough that everyone in our school, at least where I'm from, everyone in Delaware loved hot Cheetos. That's like all the kids ate at our school. I don't know if that's a trend in every high school or every elementary or every middle school, but we absolutely loved hot Cheetos. Another trend back in our high school, in our elementary school, was eating ramen noodles raw. Yes, we would actually eat ramen noodles raw. Ramen noodles raw was one of the things that was just a tradition at our school. But now, since I'm older, I would rather eat ramen noodles cooked. It's funny enough, most kids didn't like ramen noodles cooked, but they liked them raw. And I was in the camp that actually ate them raw as well. I never grew up really eating them as well until now, or at least back when I was like in my older teenage years, I would start cooking them. But when I was a kid and when I was still around 13, 14 years old, 15 years old, I would always eat them raw like every other kid out there. And then, of course, not all my childhood was really good. As a kid, I was bullied just like other kids, just because obviously fat people are gonna get bullied more. They'd be like, "Oh, you're lazy scum, you're a lazy bum. You don't exercise. All you do is eat food." And to be fair, when you look at fat people, I'm not saying all fat people, because I can't really say, I don't want to piss off people, and you may be fat if you're watching this, but a lot of times it's sad. It's really sad in our communities and things like that. How a lot of people get the general idea that fat people are nasty people just because, usually when you're fat you eat too much food, you're disgusting, you're lazy and stuff. That is technically kind of true, but it's not always the case. So you shouldn't always either stereotype certain people, or you shouldn't always assuming stuff in life is not always the best way to go about stuff. But yeah, I did get bullied a lot as a kid. Actually, up until high school, I was still getting bullied, and I was still fat in high school. One reason I got bullied in high school, there was this kid there, I'm not gonna say names, but yeah, he bullied me really, really bad. I'm not gonna say it because he might be watching or something, so I'm not gonna say who it is, but you know who you are, and it just sucked. Actually, one of my childhood bullies, believe it or not, this is kind of a sad story, but one of my childhood bullies actually died recently. Not like recently, but he died like a couple months ago, which was just a shame. He was actually the same age as me when he died. Very, very tragic. Even though I don't like people who like mess with me or make fun of me and things like that, I still feel really sad inside when something tragic happens to people, whether they bully me or not. It's just a sad time that one of my childhood bullies that I grew up with died. Don't know how he died, but he died. It was just very, very unfortunate death for him. Just too bad. Just trying to think of some other things that I'm gonna talk about before I end off of the video. Speaking of animals, I guess as well, I am also love other animals. I recently went to the zoo, and I wouldn't mind going back to the zoo. There's actually a zoo close to me, and actually right now they're doing this summer thing from like July 4th to like July 30th, where you can get into the zoo for free. So I might be going back to the zoo. Our zoo is not the biggest zoo, but it's not the smallest at all. It's pretty big, and it'll take you about 4 or 5 hours to view the whole zoo. So that tells you how big the zoo is. The zoo is very, very nice. They even have a gift shop there. And even though I've been there a lot of times, I wouldn't mind going back there, taking friends, taking family. I absolutely love going to the zoo. Going to the zoo is one of my favorite things, just chilling out. I don't know if you'd call it expensive or not, but it's $15 to get into our zoo. So I don't know if I can go all the time, but it's just fun going to the zoo. But now, since they're having those family days that you can get in for free because of summer, then I might need to go down to the zoo, to my local zoo some more, just because you can get in for free right now from Days of Summer. I would love doing that. Or it's not called Days of Summer, but it's just this like summer break or summer something. You can get in for free, so it's nice. I might need to revisit the zoo. Some of my favorite animals at the zoo is the giraffe and the zebras, but then we also seen some spiders, and I love the hippo, and I love the sloths. I think the sloths are the lazy ones. I seen some ducks. Actually, I'm not a big fan of ducks, but once you see them splashing around in the water, it's pretty cute. If a guy could even say cute, but they are pretty cute splashing around in the water. It's funny too, the day I went to the zoo, it was hot as hell. I mean, it was like over 100, and my dumbass actually had on skinny jeans and a long sleeve t-shirt for some reason. I thought the weatherman said it was going to be 70 degrees outside. I went there and it was over 100. I'm like, what the freak? I was not the only one in jeans, though, to be fair. I was not the only one. There was a couple of people, but for the most part, everyone was in the usual attire, shorts, and either a tank top or just a short sleeve t-shirt. One thing I absolutely hate about our zoo is they have free water fountains there, but their water fountains are garbage at my zoo, because when you turn them on, they work, but they're so entirely hot. I don't know why they're hot, but they're hot. So next time I go to the zoo, I'm definitely going to bring a canister of water. I'm going to learn my lesson. But luckily, in my area right now, from where I'm at, it's not been hot this summer. I might jinx it though, but right now it's been in the 80s, like 85, 84, 80s. I think 89 or 90's been the hottest this summer. I might jinx myself, but yeah, it's been pretty cool this summer, so I've been trying to get out more. Obviously, if it's hot, I'm still going to try to get out. I'm just going to be careful, try to drink a lot of water. Also, when it comes to my water drinking, I'm obsessive with the water. I try to drink like literally 60 or 70 ounces a day. I'm that serious, because you don't want to get dehydrated, especially if you live in a humid climate or if it's summer. A good tip that my sister said, and I do believe in too, is if you're not thirsty, drink. Don't drink when you're thirsty, because that's probably the sign that it's too late. When your throat, like you can feel it in your throat, and you need the water, or you have a headache, because you can get headaches for not drinking enough water. So always try to stay hydrated as much as possible when it comes to drinking water. So that's why I'm always drinking the water. Like 80% of the time, I'm chugging water. About 70 liters or 70 ounces, not liters, but 70 ounces a day when it comes to water. I'm obsessive with the water. I just want to make sure that I'm trying to keep up on that. Funny enough is also getting to know me. I don't eat a lot of sweets in my real life because I said it before, I'm paranoid when it comes to diabetes. So I don't even eat ice cream, donuts, sweets. For the most part, I do cut those out. I haven't eaten a sweet in a long time, probably been 2, 3, 4 years since I've actually eaten a sweet, and I'm very proud of myself. I know you can get by eating like once every couple months or once a year, but I try to stay away from that. Now, I know some of you viewers might be a little bit younger than me, so feel free to actually pause the video or mute the sound if you don't want to hear this. And sorry about this, parents, if you are listening. I did warn you right now. You could turn off the volume, or you could skip this part or mute the volume real quick. I'll be done in just a couple of seconds. But when it comes to drinking beer, I occasionally drink beer about once a year. And my favorite beer, personally for me, is Blue Moon. I absolutely love Blue Moon beer. I do drink it not often, and I don't drink it only on, like once a year, maybe on like Christmas or on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. That's about it when it comes to drinking beer. I'm very, very, very cautious when it comes to drinking beer. I don't want you guys to have a drinking problem in life or have an alcohol addiction, because obviously an alcohol addiction is not that good. Now, when it comes to also my race, before I head out of here, I said I was half Filipino and half American. Now, you're wondering which parents Asian and which parents American. So let me start off by saying is my dad's full American or full Caucasian or full European, whatever you want to call it, and then my mom's full Filipino. It's funny enough too that I've been to the Philippines. Actually, the 9 times I went to the Philippines, I started out when I was actually 2 years old. Believe it or not, I traveled to the Philippines when I was like 2 or 3. Don't quote me if I was 2 or 3, but I was definitely a baby. You can see in the pictures, and it was really cool. But it's funny enough now I'm not actually know how to speak full Tagalog. I can't speak full Tagalog. But it's funny though, one of my childhood teachers, I'm not going to name names, told us specifically, don't teach your kid another language because they would get confused. But it would have been cool if I would have learned another language outside of my current language, English. It's unfortunate because my mom would have taught us Tagalog for sure. I can say some stuff in Tagalog, but I'm not going to. But yeah, I don't know another language outside of English, so sorry about that. I don't even know Spanish. I don't even know French. I don't even know Chinese. I don't know nothing outside of English. And to be honest, for the most part, if you don't know me, I don't have a learning disability. I may though, actually, because I'm not good when it comes to learning stuff. I mean, when it comes to learning school related stuff, like when it comes to like reading, writing, math, and things like that, I have a very hard time. You would think that I'm Asian as well. I would be good at math, but I'm not good at math at all. I absolutely suck when it comes to learning about math. I still to this day don't know how to do trigonometry, geometry, algebra. I just know how to do basic math. So when it comes to like adding, subtracting, division, multiplying, that kind of stuff. Other than that, when it comes to complicated math or even some other maths above the simple ones, I can't really learn them, and I don't know how to do them at all. Also, if you heard me say multiple times in this video, I do have a sibling. I only have one sibling in this lifetime. I have a sister. Apparently, my mom keeps saying that I was supposed to have another sibling, but they died during birth. I don't know how true that is. I've asked my dad before, but he shrugs it off, so I don't know. I'll never get the real answer, but I'll have to go off what my mom says, that I used to have another sibling that died. So it would have been cool. I wish I would have had a brother or another sister, but it is what it is. Just having one sibling's enough, because you know having siblings at any age can be a hassle. You still argue. It's still frustrating. Not always, of course. When you get older, you start becoming more close to them, you start becoming more friendly, more nicer, and you just start having a closer bond. But as a kid, even to this day, we still argue a lot, and because also our beliefs in life and our ways in life, we don't really when it comes to like what we believe in life are two different things. She believes certain things in life are different, and I believe certain things are different. So we'll always never be the same in life, but that's just how it is when you have siblings right there. Now, when it comes to cousins, I have a lot of cousins. I probably have like 7 or 8 cousins. Honestly, that is a lot of cousins. It might not be a lot compared to other people, but that still is a lot. So I have a lot of cousins. Cousins. Unfortunately, none of them live in America. It's unshame. Now, my uncle lives in America, and he's from the Philippines. That is cool that I do have one uncle that lives here in America from the Philippines, and he's been here now about like five years, or maybe closer to 8 probably, because he's been here since 2010. So he's been here definitely about 7 years now, and he's been traveling. I've been checking on him, and he's been traveling America because he's fortunate enough to travel America. Right now, he's actually, as I'm speaking, sitting here. It is summertime. He's in Las Vegas, Nevada. You know, Las Vegas is the gambling city. It's known for gambling. It's known for shows. Actually, I would love to go there just to see the Pawn Stars, because I am a big watcher of the Pawn Stars, and I also like the other show on history, American Pickers. There are actually some good shows. I would love to go see the Pawn Stars, actually, with Chum-Li and Corey and Rick Harrison. I don't even know what happened to the old man. I think the old man actually passed, because in the newer episodes you don't even see the old man, but maybe he retired and maybe he's actually sitting at home watching all the new episodes. But I love the old man. That show is awesome. You guys may not like that show, but you probably know what I'm talking about. Not American Pickers. I was going to say Pawn Stars. Yep, I like Pawn Stars. I watch that from time to time, honestly. And I'm going to go ahead and end the video here right now because I've been rambling on, talking too long. But there's a lot of information about me if you want to get to know me as a person. And I hope you guys do enjoy some of the stuff that I like or dislike. And I do, hopefully maybe you have some similarities with me and things like that. And you get to know me. I don't want to be one of those people that just talk about the news and things like that, or gaming news or tech news. I want you to really get to know me as a person behind the camera. That's why I am so glad YouTube is a platform unlike movies, TVs, because in those you would never ever get to know the person unless you're related to them or you somehow stumbled on them. But what's the chances of that? It's very rare that you're ever going to meet your favorite actor or your favorite movie star or your favorite singer. And even if you can't meet them, the chances of you knowing a lot about them are going to be slim. Yes, you can look up stuff on the internet, but it's not the same. You can have a one-on-one interaction like I'm doing here on YouTube. That is why I love YouTube, and I love talking to you guys on a one-on-one basis. You can kind of feel like you get to know me as a friend or as a family member or something like that. You can connect with me like this. Anyways, I'm definitely going to end the video here. Anyway, guys, peace out. I'll see you guys later in my next video. I'm out, guys.